Good morning. Now, I recently did a comparison video between these two, which I will stick a link up here if you haven't seen it. And several people commented that they'd like to see an actual camo test between the two. So that's what I'm doing today. Now, to make it fair, I'm not going to do any proper setups. I'm just going to ridgeline and hang it over, shall we say, on the washing line sort of style, so it looks a bit like an A-frame. Because of course the DD is very light underneath, the Solognac is black underneath. So I want to sort of take that out of the equation. We're just talking about the camo pattern and colour itself. So yeah, simple ridgeline. I'm going to do it in multiple locations. I'm out early, so the sun's not too high, so hopefully the sunlight, won't play into the equation too much. We'll see how we get on. When I film it, I'm not going to mess with the settings on the camera or anything like that. I'm going to leave it in auto all the time, to so it's fair between the two, and you'll get the closest, hopefully, representation of how it looks. The only variable will be, of course, if the sun comes in or out. Cloud goes over, nothing I can do about that, but I'll do my best to keep it as equal as possible and as varied as possible. I've chosen this particular woodland because it's an old plantation and there's a real mixture in here, so I will be able to get traditional woodland, pine plantation, dark shady areas, open quite sparse areas, so there's a mixture of environments to test them. Right, enough waffling, I'll get started. First up, the Solognac from Decathlon. 10 paces out, stuck in the rhododendrons, bit of shadow. Looks okay to me. Obviously I've not hidden it too much, you can see the straight line of the ridge, but if I hide it too much, it wouldn't make a video, would it? So yeah, just for colour comparison, that's the Solognac. I will now unhook that one and stick up the DD Multicam in exactly the same area with the camera in the same spot. There we go, DD Multicam, same location. I don't know whether the sun's a little bit brighter or whether it's the camera, but to my mind that's showing up a little more. Can't tell for certain because I'm only looking at a little screen. I won't know until it's on the computer. But in this location, from what I'm seeing here, I'd say Solognac wins this one. But they're both pretty decent, to be honest, with the naked eye. Right, let's do a little bit of worst case scenario. Quite an open patch of woodland, sun shining directly on it, although it is also casting shadows on it. Not bad, to be honest. That is the Solognac. Let me swap over to the DD. There we go, DD Multicam, same location. To be honest, still both decent. Wouldn't really like to call it between them two. I'm not quite sure how it's showing on camera, but with the naked eye, both very good, very acceptable. I'm on the edge of a very deep valley, so most of these shots I'm doing from 10 paces, but I think I'm going to try one now at long range to see how that works out. There we go, about 50 meters away, that is, between the trees, centre of shot. Against the ferns and so on, I would say that Solognac is a little on the dark side, and I think the DD will be much the same. For them really light coloured ferns, midsummer, I always find the old British MTP the best option, but I'll swap them over and see what happens. DD Multicam, same location, same distance. Again, quite decent, but a little too dark. Although, looking from here with the naked eye, I would say that is slightly better than the Solognac in that location. Interesting. Right, I'm hearing people's voices in the distance, and I am in a private wood. So I'm going to pack up in this location and head across to another section away from people. Dense pines, plenty of shadow, not much sunlight getting in here, and we're back to the sort of 10 paces sort of distance. I think that's very respectable there from the Solognac. Let's swap them over. DD Multicam, same spot. Again, I would be happy to use either. I was quite surprised so far. I thought they'd be sort of worlds apart performance wise, because they're so radically different in pattern and shape and, you know, colour and everything. But they just both work, to be fair. Right, one more test. It's getting really hot now. I'll head up into a very open section of the pines where it's very bright, and that'll be the final scenario. Right, again, 10 paces, right sort of out in the open really. There's not much cover in this section, and where it's quite sparse there's a lot of daylight, as you can see. I think that's okay, really. I mean, I have hung it quite high to make it very obvious. Down low, I think that'd be fine. Let's swap over to the DD. And the DD in the same spot. Again, you know, looking over it at the greenery behind, dark trees, etc., blends in okay. I'd have no issue with using that in this sort of location. Well, I have many times. I've had that multicam about 3 years, and it is very good in most places. It's only really springtime, when it's really green, light green everywhere, that sort of doesn't work. But most of the time it's cool. Right, I'm going to find somewhere to sit down and get a drink, because it's hot as hell, and I'll come to a conclusion. Right, conclusions time. How did you think it go? I was quite surprised, to be honest. Now, the multicam I've had 3 years probably, something like that. I really like it. Good performer everywhere, really. Some better than others, obviously, but I do like it. Solognac Furtiv, the new kid on the block, as it were. This, at the moment, is my favourite. Not necessarily for performance, etc., but it's just so different, so unique. I'm really liking this. I suppose I came into it with a little bit of bias, because it's my favourite at the moment. I thought, yeah, it's going to win, it's going to win. To be honest, in most of the locations, wasn't really a lot between them. One place this worked better, one place this worked better. That's always going to be the case. No two locations, no two lighting is ever going to be the same. I think in the evening, low sun or no sun, this works brilliantly. So far I have no complaints about this either. Very difficult. I can't really give you a conclusion, as you've probably seen in the footage. They both work. So, for a comparison video, well, they compare quite well to each other. I can't really call it. One will suit one location better than the other, but it's all down to where you are. I think they're both excellent. They're both good patterns. I'm quite happy with both. I'm surprised. I thought it would be Solognac for a fairly clear win, and it's not. Do not underestimate the DD Multicam. It's pretty good. Okay guys, thanks for watching.